Hey, welcome back. This is part 1 of 4 of our Pacific crossing from Honolulu, Hawaii to Sitka, Alaska. If you've been following our journey, this is the start of our biggest one yet. If you're new here, welcome. We've spent the last decade of our lives in Hawaii and the last 5 years sailing around the main Hawaiian islands. The crew consisted of just Dave and I and our dog Porter. We left Honolulu with 255 gallons of diesel and 266 gallons of water.
Raise the main for the first time. Yeah, this is crazy. It's been 2 years, I think, since I've done crossings. Get back on the horse, they say.
We departed from Honolulu after a slow morning. Wind is 14 knots outside of Honolulu from the northeast with a big east swell, both at about 70 degrees apparent. The wind rose to 24 knots about 3 nautical miles offshore. We maintained a triple reefed main and 100% jib, trekking along around 5 knots. The crossing should take 18 to 21 days, we think. If we go faster, it'll be shorter. Right now we're averaging about 4 and change, so might be closer to 20 and change days. Conditions leaving Honolulu are pretty gusty. That's not really gusty, but I would say the wind is at about like 15 to 16 knots, and then the gusts are up to like 22. Those periods of gusts last like a couple minutes. So right now we've got a triple reefed main. We probably could drop or shake one and go to a double reefed main, but we're just going to sail a little conservative for the first day at least. And then we've got about 100% of our jib out, and we've got our trusty autopilot Eddie. So we've got 2 autopilots. We've named them Ricky and Eddie. Ricky's going to be our electric autopilot, and then Eddie is going to be our wind vane. Ricky because it makes a bunch of noises, and then Eddie because there might be an eddy inhibiting your wind behind the pilot house.
It is about 12:36 right now. First real night watch. Started doing 3-hour shifts. Yeah, my last one was 6 to 9. This one's 12 to 3. It's about, 15 to 25 when there's squalls. And there's probably like 2.5 meter waves. Kind of forward of our beam a little bit. Some are on our beam, but our wind vane is steering. It's been steering the whole time since we left. It's been great. Saves a lot of power, and yeah, this is kind of our first real time using it. So good thing I read those books to figure out how to use it. But the moonrise just happened a couple minutes ago. Super dark before that. The stars were sick. Saw a bunch of shooting stars. Saw the Starlink satellites. But yeah, we're just cruising. It's kind of rough. Porter is having a rough time because he hasn't used the bathroom yet, but I'm sure he'll. You just got to get used to it, just like we do. Wind vane back there. Going. We got the wind like 60 or higher right now. We're just a little west of the rum line. Sails. Third reef in the main. Reef the jib for night. Still going probably like 5-ish knots. A little bit more, a little bit less. Yeah. We're going. Just listening to an audiobook. So, alright. See you later.
Around midnight, the wind rose to about 27 knots sustained. It was darker than I expected.
all you can see is the tricolor on the top of the mast, the moon, a sky full of stars, and bioluminescence that dances on the backs of waves we've sailed over from the northeast. Honestly, it's hard to even talk. Wind has been at like 60 degrees, the wind and the swell. The swell is big. And then the wind is probably at like, for me, for my watch last night, it was at 27 consistent. It's super squally. The first 24 hours were challenging. At this point, I was super seasick and hadn't had any luck sleeping. The boat stunk, and Porter was causing me a lot of stress by not going potty. Wind and waves were pushing it, so we furled in the headsail and were going a lot slower, but at least the heel was more manageable. The day was squally, and then the wind would completely die after the squall and come back with a vengeance up to 27 knots. So it was difficult to figure out the appropriate sail configuration, so we weren't constantly fussing around with it. Our watch schedule was as follows. We have 6-hour watches during the day and 2 3-hour watches at night. Dave's on from 6 a.m. to noon. I'm on from noon to 6 p.m. Dave's on from 6 to 9 p.m. I'm on from 9 p.m. to midnight. Dave's on from midnight to 3 a.m. and I'm on from 3 to 6 a.m. Because it was just the two of us, we prioritized not interrupting each other's personal times. We made a rule that one person should not go forward of the cockpit outside unless the other is awake and vigilant. The only way to raise and reef the mainsail is by the mast, so that meant we kept the main reefed pretty consistently. Port and I had a rough watch between 9 and midnight the evening before. I swear that one was the squall shift every night. It was heavy, no sky, just clouds. The waves had become more predictable, but were still uncomfortable on our starboard beam.
Alright. Just got on watch. It's probably about 6. Swell has come in, and this weather right now is insane. It says it's supposed to be squally this morning, and that's what we've gotten for the past couple days. But this is amazing. Just perfect. Feel safe letting out some more sail. Sick this is right now. Sunrise.
The morning turned into a beautiful afternoon. By day 3, Porter was totally comfortable with the new sleep schedule and going potty on deck.
Today's been great. Barely a cloud in the sky and consistent wind. And we've been cooking along.
Yeah, I've not been loving this wind. Wind and wave angle up until today. The past 2 days were really close hauled, and the waves were on our starboard forward beam, and so slamming into them and a really killer momentum. And it was so squally the past 2 days that like the wind would die and then it would get up to like 15 to 20 knots, which is nice. We need like 21 to 22 knots to like really start moving. But then when the squalls would come, they would pipe up to like 30 knots. And at night especially, you don't want to be like futzing around with that stuff. So we started just maintaining our triple reefed main and our super reefed jib, which is killing our speed when there's no squalls. So yeah, today's been a lot better. We turned we came off the wind a little bit, and we're just heading more north. And when there's, this is like a semi-squall right now. It's just bringing heavier winds. Ouch. And we were going like 6.5 knots. Then as soon as the squall dies, then so does the wind and so does our speed. So it's every day I wake up and I'm like, I cannot believe we're doing this. It's hard for me to believe that, okay, we're actually going to sail at 2,300 nautical miles and we're going to be out here for the next like 2 weeks. The dog's doing good. He has learned where to go to potty and when to go to things. And he mostly just sleeps. He has no idea what he has to look forward to in Alaska, so it'll all be worth it. 20 days, and then he'll be free. Dave's, I think, doing better than me. Naturally. Yeah, we've been turning Starlink on for like less than an hour every day. I think they charge $2 a gigabyte. We probably only spent like $4 maybe so far. Sea-state wind conditions right now are immaculate. I wish that it was like this every day so far. Haven't showered or brushed my hair. Brushed my teeth for the first time this morning. Yeah, that felt good. I don't know how people do this and like look good doing it. I feel so gross. Sorry. I think when we hit this like area of no wind between the northeast trades and the westerlies, it'll be a good opportunity for us to like clean the boat and ourselves. Yeah. And right now it's 14 knots, 12 knots of wind, and we're going 5 knots. When it goes up to like 17, we go about 6 or 7 knots. That's the speed I want to go. How's your sandwich? Porter. Want some? It's day 4 of our Pacific crossing, calendar day 4. And the conditions are so good. They're amazing. They've been amazing since like midday yesterday. What are you doing? What are you doing? I think you see the reflection of my phone. Okay. I'm obsessed with reflections. So right now there's about 13 knots of wind. We're going 6.5 knots. The wind is about 60 to 70 degrees apparent. So far the crossing has been, like the first couple days were a lot harder than I anticipated. I'm closer to the point now, it's just frightening. First 2 nights. And then last night was super good. Tonight I'm hoping to be similarly as good. Not seasick, but it's hard to cook downstairs still. Just because of the angle that we're sailing at. So we've just been eating like pre-made food, which has been nice. Porter's totally getting the hang of whatever's going on. He like gets it. He knows when to go to the bathroom. He knows when to sleep. He knows he can't go outside without us. Like, he gets it. Our fridge and freezer are still not really working, so I'm hoping these sandwiches stay okay. All the ones that I've made. These sandwiches we look forward to every day. Yeah. Dave, what's yours today?
I got steak, Colby.
Okay. Open it up.
And then I put a bunch of stuff on it. Nice.
Love that. And then mine's turkey pesto.
Super good.
Turkey pesto mozzarella. Right now we're to second reef main, just in case. We have a really big main, so we've just been keeping it reefed a little bit. And almost about 100% of our dip out. We haven't used the staysail. I think if it was a furling staysail, we definitely would use it. But because it's a hang-on, if anything were to happen, like if we needed to drop that staysail for whatever reason, since it's just the two of us, we don't really want to interrupt each other's off-watch times. So I think that the staysail's amazing. So I would like to have a furling stay in the future. That way we can actually use it more. I think we would. So yeah, just because it's the two of us and we want to make sure we don't interrupt each other's personal time we're not really using that station. But I'm happy with 6.5 knots. Like, 6.5 knots is better than I can ask for at the moment. So, yeah, the conditions are balmy. Much better than like any channel crossing. How we take Porter to go potty when it's nice out. Dave made some ramen.
Summer solstice sunset. It's the longest day of the year. I think it's almost about 8 o'clock. So I think this is the first time. Very short because it's not like
Day 5 of our Pacific crossing. I just woke up from like a 3-hour nap. It's really just me closing my eyes and hoping I get some sleep. Today's pretty rough. The swell is just still pretty east, so it's right on our beam. And then the wind gusts between like 16 and 20 knots. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but just so we don't heel over so much, we put in a third reef or a second reef. Well, yeah, we have 2 reefs in. No, we don't. Yeah, we do. Put our third reef in. Oh, I'm confused. Put in our third reef. Forgive me for I have not slept. Yeah, and so we're still going 5 knots. Yeah, so that's all good. We got about 100 nautical miles until our next waypoint. Don't feel seasick today, which is great. Felt like the tinge of it a little bit yesterday, but I think today it's gone. It's day 5. It took 5 days for that to go away. Battery consumption is an issue. Yeah, and it's just because of our fridge and freezer. If it wasn't because of our fridge and freezer, we would not have an issue. We would be big chilling. But fridge and freezer are just killing us. It's like a constant 20 amp draw. It's horrible. And they're really not even working that well. But we have so much food in there, and it's keeping them like nominally colder than the outside environment. So we want to keep it on until we can consume some of that food. This went from like 25 knots and wind waves to 10 knots and chop. So, debating on whether or not I want to shake a reef. I don't think I do. We are only going 3.5 knots. I see another squall on the horizon. We experienced heavy wind and waves from an eastern squall in the morning. The afternoon was littered with squalls. Between each squall was super light wind. We shook a reef in our main to pick up some speed when the squalls would pass, and sheeted out the main when the squalls would hit. One of the many things that surprised me during our Pacific crossing was how frequently and quickly the conditions could change. Thanks for watching. The next parts of our Pacific crossing are up.